Good morning, Will. How are you? Baruch atah asherah anat melecha ha'olam asher kedeshoni b'mitzvotav v'tzivani lehitatif l'tzitzit. What are you up to today? It's really nice to see you. You know, I don't think I realized you were a student. What are you studying? I'm graduating too, next week. You studied history. What part of history? Why have I never asked you this before? I feel a little embarrassed. I had no idea you were an undergrad. I mean, I guess when I met you, it was no, I knew you before February. Yeah, I had no idea you were a student. Good morning, Kimmy. How are you? Modern history, like post World War II. Good morning, Ghost. Post 7 Years War. Okay, that's still quite a lot of history. Oh, post World War II is contemporary history. Modern history. What region of the world? You say post 7 Years War, so modern North American history? Right? The 7 Years War was a thing that happened in no, that was the French and Indian War. Where was the 7 Years War? That was in Europe? I guess I don't even know what the 7 Years War was. Modern European history. Okay. Good morning, guess who, babe? What time do I usually start my lives? Between 10 and 11 most days. Contemporary is more Asian focused. Yeah, because the Asian countries got real powerful. It wasn't possible to be Eurocentric today, or the last 50 years. But it is still possible to tell a Eurocentric story about history 200 years ago. That's where all the power was in the world. I don't like the way that this is folding. Something like that. Yeah. I'm glad you're here, guess who? So, today we are going to say the Shema and the Vahafta. And we'll read from the Epic of Gilgamesh. And then we'll say Arati and Kaddish. You took a course on Indian religion in the fall, which is why you're so fascinated with my lives. Oh, interesting. Yeah, you know, as I got to know you, most of what we talked about was Abrahamic faiths. Yeah, I would love to talk to you more about Vedic philosophy. Your professor was an Indian Jesuit. So interesting. Oh, wow. Huh. What is my favorite sports team? I don't play sports ball, Alex. Yeah. How much have I told you about Shivananda. I mean, that's the tradition that I know anything about, and I don't know that much. But Shivananda was a guru in India in the 50s, and he sent a bunch of his students to North America to start institutions. And the one where I learned was founded by a man named Vishnu Devananda in the Catskills of New York. And it's like classic Vedanta, like yoga. Like that's what they do, is they teach like people how to teach yoga, but like, orthodox yoga, not modern hot yoga or whatever. Right, so like, yeah, I have an alignment with you in terms of an attachment to orthodoxy there, specifically with Vedanta. But like, it's hard for me to even say that Shivananda is like orthodox Vedanta because there's a bunch of white people, right? Like and deliberately, like it's a proselytizing organization, right? Like their intention was to spread yoga philosophy in North America to an international audience, right? So it's not appropriative. Like sometimes I worry about wearing orange when I say those prayers because orange is the color of a Swami and I'm not a Swami. But generally speaking, I don't think that me saying those words are appropriative because they taught it to me in a particular context. Like that's why Jesus and Muhammad and Moses show up in their liturgy. But nonetheless, it is a kind of orthodoxy. It's like like a neo-orthodoxy. Like they import a lot of like, I don't know, classist, casteist, Brahmanic assumptions into the way that they teach Hinduism, which they can get away with in America in a way that like in India might be kind of problematic. I don't know. It's complicated, and I don't actually know enough about that lineage and its relationship to other Hindu traditions to say much more than like, I'm an American, I learned it from there. The Gita translation and commentary you read was a Hare Krishna one. India has a church founded by trans women. Really? That's very interesting. Yeah, I mean, I do think that, like, historically, in the same way that the Indian religions can, like, claim a more unbroken history to the Bronze Age, right? And, like, the Abrahamic faith, they break up the ages in, like, these really cataclysmic new traditions. But the Indian traditions are more syncretistic, right? And so, likewise, their response to cultural change is more syncretistic. So they can, like, more strongly be able to claim a certain kind of contiguous queer identity in the Indian subcontinent than I think anywhere else in the world. Right, like the kind of castes that we read about in Uruk, about like Inanna and her non-binary priesthood. I think that there are similar traditions that have remained consistently in India for several thousand years. But I'm rambling. You get me to think about such interesting things, Will. Yeah, you do ramble. I think that's probably as much information as I can say on that topic in a live stream like this, right? I have to keep my answers curt. But yeah, I would love to post that stuff about Hinduism. I'll tell you what I can on Discord about Vedanta. Maybe we'll read the Rig Veda on here at some point. We'll finish the Epic of Gilgamesh and we'll read the Rig Veda. It's much more metaphysical. This is a more recent text, like the Rig Veda. I mean, I guess it's like fairly contemporaneous with like the Baal cycle, but it's more recent than Gilgamesh or the Inanna stories we were reading, but and like less narrative, much more about metaphysics. So I bet you'd like it. Okay, so we'll read the Rig Veda next. Anyway, it's time for the Shema. Shema Yisrael Asher Eloheinu Yahweh Echad. Vahafta et Anat Elohecha ובכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך ובחיו הדברים האלה אשר נכיר מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ולכתך בדרך, ובשכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, אביך יהיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך, ובשעריך. וחיה. כי ויחיו אלוהיך אל הארץ אשר נשבע לאבותיך לאברהם ליצחק וליעקב לתת לך ערים גדולות וטובות אשר לא בנית ובתים מלאים כל דבר אשר לא מילאת וברות הצווים אשר לא הצעת כערים מזיתים אשר לא נתת והלכת ושבת ישמר לך פניך את יהוה אשר תישך מארץ מצרים מבית עבדים. The Book of Abraham from the Pearl of Great Price. Yeah, I know next to nothing about Mormonism. What am I saying? When Yahweh Elohim brings you into the land that he swore to your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to assign to you, great and flourishing cities that you did not build, houses full of all good things that you did not fill, hewn cisterns that you did not hew, vineyards and olive groves that you did not plant, and you eat your fill. Take heed that you do not forget Yahweh, who freed you from the land of Egypt, the house of bondage. Yes, I learned that in that video. Did you see that video I posted, the Baptist phylogenetic tree? Useful Charts made this fantastic video about the spread of Christianity. And one of the things that I've learned from that series is just like how much Christian sects like necessarily segregate and diversify according to national and ethnic lines. Like, duh, of course. So yeah, there's more Baptists in India than anywhere else because baptism was a tradition that developed in England, and England colonized India. And so when they were proselytizing, they proselytized to Indians. No, I'm not Baptist. I'm not Baptist at all, Cassidy. Yeah, but like I think like the Indian theology, like I don't even want to say Hindu theology because that's going to draw a dividing line that like would exclude Sikhs and certain flavors of Islam. Indian religious philosophy, like the religious philosophies that have emerged and spread throughout the Indian subcontinent, tend to have, more so than other places in the world, this is like painting with broad strokes, but tend to have a more syncretistic bent to them. It's easier for them to incorporate other religious traditions without those traditions threatening their own theology, right? None of this, like, there is no God but God, right? Like, none of this Yahweh Eloheinu Asher Echad, only one God, right? Or maybe like the older version, right? Yahweh and Eloheinu are the same God. They're one God. Right, like you see that in the Indian philosophies much more generously. Like, oh yeah, there's an active attempt for the religious to westernize themselves. Which religions? Things like the Confucian Church, yeah. Yeah, there's all sorts of funny combinations that I know next to nothing about, right? Because like I come from a particular place in the world and have a particular diaspora lineage. Yeah, there's so much diversity in the world. It's wild. So, like that's why I read this stuff, right? Like, there's so much diversity in the world that I can't possibly understand it. Like, there's just simply too much variety out there. Baptists in China wanted to set up missions like Christians in America. So I can't possibly try to like track and map all of the religious diversity that exists today, or even understand a fragment of the religious diversity that exists today, unless I understand the root forms, right? Like, because it all takes the shape of a tree. Like, that's why I focus on trees so much, right? Like, so if all of these traditions, they diversify and spread and change according to this pattern, then if we pay attention to the metastructure of that pattern, we can understand something about the traditions, right? So that's why I read these old stories, because I do believe that there's something in Gilgamesh that is just as relevant to modern Christianity as is to the Iranian religions, right? To the Vedic tradition, right? It's a common mythological history that both East and West share. Are these stories here? So that's why I return to them. They wanted to make Confucianism into something like the Church of Sweden or England. Yeah, single hierarchical institution with professional clergy. Good morning, Batya. How are you? What brings you here on this day of days? My shirt is falling down. So, it's great. I love what you have to say. So with that preamble, let's read Gilgamesh. That's why we do it. I've given you my reasoning. You can accept or reject. It's nice to see you, Batya. I'm glad. Tablet 5. What religion do I follow? Well, I think the only way I could answer that after that preamble, Cassidy, is to say that I am an evolutionary mythologer. Right? So I pay attention to the phylogenetic branching of our religious traditions, and try to understand what they have in common in order to better respect and appreciate their diversity. That's an elevator speech for you, right? It sounds so canned. But, I don't know. Nobody else says that they're an evolutionary mythologer, but that's what I want to be. Like, I want to be an evolutionary mythologer rabbi. So, here we are, reading the Epic of Gilgamesh. If you want a clear-cut answer, you'd have to ask Will. Yeah, ask Will what religion he follows. Ask me, I don't know. I read some old books on TikTok. This is my religion, right here, right now. You want to be a part? Stick around. Oh, no, I mean, that sounds like I'm proselytizing. That sounds terrible. Anyway, let's read the Epic of Gilgamesh. Tablet 5. The friends are found admiring the wondrous forests and the paths of Humbaba, its guardian. They stood at the edge of the forest. They gazed at the height of the cedars. They gazed at the way into the forest where Humbaba would walk. A path was made. Straight were the ways and easy the going. They saw the cedar mountain, dwelling of the gods, sacred to the goddess Irnina. On the slopes of that mountain the cedar bears its abundance. Agreeable is its shade, full of pleasures. The undergrowth is tangled, the thicket interwoven. Near the cedar, the balsam tree. Then there's a gap. Weapons at the ready, the two friends advance, encouraging each other. From afar off the swords, after the scabbards, where axes touched the whetstone, daggers and swords, one by one they crept forward. Humbaba. Enkidu made ready to speak, saying to Gilgamesh, Humbaba, one by one, 2 garments, 1 treacherous pathway, we can go together, 2. They gazed at the height of the cedars. This wall relief suggests how the poet may have visualized the cedar mountain. So here we have the cedars. You see that? That's so good. A 3-strand rope does not. 2 cubs are stronger than a mighty lion. And there's another gap. In older versions, they begin to cut trees and Humbaba hears the noise. In the standard version, they meet Humbaba first. He proves to be something of a snob, disdaining the step-born Enkidu, whom he ridicules as a midget and a reptile. Gilgamesh, then, has second thoughts. Humbaba made ready to speak, saying to Gilgamesh, How well advised they are, the fool Gilgamesh and the yokel man. Why have you come here to me? Come now, Enkidu, small fry, who does not know his father. Spawn of a turtle or tortoise, who sucked no mother's milk. I used to see you when you were younger, but would not go near you. Had I killed the likes of you, I would have filled my belly. That is a hard voice to do. I have to make my voice very big, because Humbaba's a giant. Had I killed the likes of you, would I have filled my belly? You have brought Gilgamesh before me. You stand there, a barbarian foe. I should cut off your head, Gilgamesh, throat and neck. I should let cawing buzzard, screaming eagle, and vulture feed on your flesh. What did you just post, Will? Gilgamesh made ready to speak, saying to Enkidu, My friend, Humbaba's features have grown more grotesque. We strode up like heroes to vanquish him. Hit my heart, right away. Enkidu urges him on, quoting his brave words at Uruk and seeking to stiffen his resolve. Enkidu made ready to speak, saying to Gilgamesh, "Why, my friend, do you raise such unworthy objections? How you pull! You make me ill. Now, my friend, this has dragged on long enough. The time has come to pour the copper into the mold. Will you take another hour to blow the bellows? An hour more to let it cool? To launch the flood weapon? To wield the lash? Retreat, not a foot. You must not turn back. Let your eyes see all. Let your blow strike home." Thanks for posting the Ignathian stuff. I'll take a look at it later today. So, my friend, Humbaba's features have grown grotesque. These demonic faces show how Mesopotamians imagined Humbaba. So here's what Humbaba looks like. He was a big man. In the combat with Humbaba, the Rift Valley of Lebanon is formed by their circling feet. He struck the ground to confront him. At their heels, the earth split apart. As they circled, the ranges of Lebanon were sundered. The white clouds turned back. Death rained down like fog upon them. Shamhash raised the great winds against Humbaba. South wind, north wind, east wind, west wind, moaning wind, blasting wind, lashing wind, contrary wind, dust storm, demon wind, freezing wind, storm wind, whirlwind. The 13 winds blotted out Humbaba's face. He could not charge forward. He could not retreat. Then Gilgamesh's weapons defeated Humbaba. We've read about those winds before, right? That language is used when destroying the Anzu bird, right? And in fact, Gilgamesh references the Anzu bird earlier in the text, right? So the monster slaying is connected. Well, with that, that's the right place to pause. So we're gonna hear Humbaba's death speech next. Humbaba begged for life, saying to Gilgamesh. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens on Monday. Hey, Ladybug. How am I? I don't know. I'm feeling really intense today. I'm very emotional. I had a pretty roller coastery kind of night. I'm glad to be here right now. I've been doing a lot of carpentry, and sometimes doing carpentry is tricky in this house. But I'm doing okay. It's just, have to adapt to your own psychology, your own landscape. You and me both, Ladybug. What time Monday? 9 o'clock on Monday. I'll be streaming. Snowman. 9:30. 9:30 Eastern time. So, let's say Arati, shall we? Jaya Jaya Arati Vina Vinayaka Vina Vinayaka Shri Ganesha Jaya Jaya Arati Subramanya Subramanya Kartikeya Jaya Jaya Arati Venugopala Venugopala Venuola Papa Vidura Navanita Joya Jaya Jaya Arati Venkanta Ramana Venkanta Ramana Sankata Harana Sita Rama Radhe Shama Jaya Jaya Arati Gauri Manohara Gauri Manohara Bhavani Sankara Samba Sadashiva Uma Maheshwara Jaya Jaya Arati Raja Rajeshwari Raja Rajeshwari Tripura Sundari Mahalakshmi Mahasaraswati Mahakali Mahashakti Jaya Jaya Arati Anjaneya, Anjaneya Hanumanta, Jaya Jaya Arati Dattatreya, Dattatreya Trimurti Avatara, Jaya Jaya Arati Adityaya, Adityaya Bhaskaraya, Jaya Jaya Arati Sanistaraya, Sanistaraya Bhaskaraya, Jaya Jaya Arati Sankarachaya, Sankarachaya Advaita Gurave, Jaya Jaya Arati Sadgurunata, Sadgurunata Shivananda, Jaya Jaya Arati Vishnu Devananda, Vishnu Devananda, Vishnu Devananda, Jaya Jaya Arati Agastya Munaye, Agastya Munaye, Shyama Priyaye, Jaya Jaya Arati Ayapa Samine, Ayapa Samine, Dharma Shastave, Jaya Jaya Arati Jesus Gurave, Moses Gurave, Buddha Gurave, Jaya Jaya Arati Muhammad Gurave, Guru Nanak Gurave, Samastya Gurubho Namaha. Jaya Jaya Arati Venugopala. Natatrasya Bhati Natandrakaratam Nimavidyo Bhati Kutaya Magni Tameva Bantamabandi Sarvam Tasya Basya Sarmidam Vivanti Om Gange Kayamane Kaiva Govari Saraswati Narmade Siddhikarveri Hiyaha Namastitam Namo Namaha. Tvameva Mata Chapita Tvameva Tvameva Bandusha Saka Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Javinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Kayena Vacha Manasandriya Hirva Budyat Manava Prakriti Sabhavad Karom Yad Yad Sakalam Parasmahi Narayana Hiti Sarmar Payami Sarvadharmam Pravichayama become Sarvadam Vraja Amsa Sarvapapayo Mokshayami Masucha. Whatever actions I perform with my body, speech, mind, senses, my nature, my intellect, or my emotions, all these I dedicate to you. Thank you. Snowman, you should check out the link in my bio. There's a link to my Discord server, and if you join the Discord server, you can check out a channel that will notify you whenever I am live. Because I do vary, like on Mondays it tends to be a little bit earlier because I have a 10 a.m. therapy appointment, so I stream a little bit earlier on Mondays. The rest of the week I usually stream between 10 and 11, something like that. And yeah, I'd love to see you again. We will conclude with Kaddish. So Kaddish is a prayer of grief and mourning, a prayer where we acknowledge that which causes us pain, whether it is internal or external, whether it is something that has come or something that has gone, something that is or something that isn't, something that might be but won't. For all these reasons we suffer, for all these reasons we grieve. We grieve because of our relationship to the past and our relationship to the future. As we are embedded in time as creatures that consume energy and excrete entropy. Because we do this, we suffer. We are an open system that has the ability to disappear. So, we say these words to acknowledge the pain that we feel and the pain that I know each of you feel. That's why I say these words. Because I know that you suffer just as much as me. I suffer just as much as you. So we say these words to remind ourselves that even though our pain is real and unavoidable, we need not experience it alone. So for the last 2,500 years, give or take, my ancestors have said these words in response to death. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה ביאמן דברכיותיו חמיך מלכותיו בחייכון ובימיכון ומחייד כל בית ישראל בגלה בזמן קריב יאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם עולמי עולמיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר וירומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי לקודשה ברכו לעילם מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דימירן ביאמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ויכל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרמיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ויכל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרמיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו amen. Thank you. Thank you, friends. Ghost, are you still here? You messaged me about my class, and I didn't give you a very satisfying answer. So I'm teaching a class on TikTok video content creation, editing, that kind of stuff next month. It starts May 15th. At least I probably am. But currently I don't have any signups from the university. Right, like, I'm getting paid to teach this course. Like, the reason why I can offer it to you folks for free is because the university is paying me. But they're only going to pay me if I get enough signups. And I don't know if I'm going to get enough signups. Right? And that depends on university politics and dynamics and whatnot. But, yeah, I'm probably going to be teaching this class. I don't know. Probably, I sent out some advertisements. I'm meeting with the major head, the minor head, next Wednesday. And I'm going to talk with them. And we'll see how many signups I get in the next couple of weeks. And if I get like 5, I think I'll run the course if I get 5 students. So I'll keep you posted. But yeah, I would love to make videos with you. And anyone else, right? You want to make videos with me, Will? Or Kimmy? Could have some fun making videos together. It meets twice a week, Monday and Friday, for 2 hours. And the workloads, we meet twice a week, Monday and Friday, for 2 hours, and then you make a video for each class. You don't have to be smart to make TikToks, Will. You just have to want to make TikToks. You're plenty smart. You're plenty smart, Kimmy. No. You may not have the desire to make TikToks, right? Like, that is perfectly fine. You don't want to, like, put yourself on the internet. You don't want to try to tell minute-long stories that are interesting. Like, sure. Like, I understand that. Sometimes I don't want to do it. But you're definitely capable. Yeah, I would love to make films with you. So I will keep you posted whether the class is actually running. Yeah. But Monday and Friday from, what is the time? Did I post on Discord what the actual time was? No, it's just in the syllabus. What does the syllabus say? I believe it's 11:30 to 1 on Mondays and Fridays. So, like, in 15 minutes is when the class would start in 2 weeks. So if you're free in 15 minutes, you can take it. All right, cool. That's enough advertising for the day. If you'd like to support this stream, you can check out the Patreon. It's a link in the bio. And if you want to be notified for the next stream, join the Discord server. Or if you just want to, like, you know, send me esoteric Indian Christianity, Christian Indians, Ignatian Vedics, some syncretistic interestingness. Yeah, I'll check out those links later today, Will. Once I get done the things that I have to do. Yeah. Cool. I'll see y'all on Monday. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Farewell.